What's going on, guys? Jacob over here. So, with the 62nd pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers picked running back A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. Quick little scouting report on Dillon. He is 6 foot tall, weighs 250 pounds, very, very powerful runner. Was rated a 6.17 grade by NFL.com, which translates to a good backup who could become a starter. He ran for almost 1,700 yards at Boston College last season, had 14 touchdowns, ran for 1,000 yards in each of his 3 seasons there. He's obviously a very talented and accomplished running back at the college level. But once again, the Packers seem to be picking for the future and not for next season. I don't know why they picked a running back this early, and I understand why the Packers might want to try and get a running back, because Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, their contracts are up next season, after next season, I should say. I understand why the Packers might want to get a running back, but this early, and with so many glaring needs for this team, the Packers can be a real Super Bowl contender next season. They were a Super Bowl contender last season. They made it to the NFC Championship game. The reason the Packers didn't win that game was because they didn't have a good enough run defense, and their wide receiver core was depleted and filled with a bunch of undrafted players. And now we've got 2 guys who aren't necessarily going to make a huge impact on the team next season. Barring an injury or some unforeseen event, these 2 guys, Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon, I don't really see making a huge impact on the Packers next season. Maybe A.J. Dillon if Aaron Jones gets injured or we decide to use Dillon and Jones in a 1-2 tandem, but that would be assuming that he beats out Jamal Williams, who already has the number 2 running back position. And Jamal Williams is kind of a similar style to A.J. Dillon. He's a very powerful runner, and he keeps his legs moving, stuff like that. He's a good short yardage back. So, I mean, I understand this pick if it's next year's draft, but not this year's draft. Why are we picking a running back this early? We have a glaring need at wide receiver first and foremost. Aaron Rodgers has almost no weapons besides Devontae Adams and kind of Allen Lazard. And secondly, we don't have an inside linebacker that's very good right now. Yeah, we went out and got Kirksey, but I mean, there was some talented guys right there for the taking for Green Bay. Zach Bond was right there for Green Bay, is translated to become an inside linebacker in the NFL. Very, very fast, very, very athletic, something that Blake Martinez was not. And we passed him up, and we got a running back. And, I don't think A.J. Dillon's going to be bad in the NFL. I think he might actually end up being good for the Packers. But this seems more like another future move for the future, when the Packers have next season to contend. Now, there was one theory that I've been thinking a little bit about. This is kind of far-fetched. I don't know if it's true or if it's behind their strategy or anything like that, so take it with a grain of salt. But maybe the Packers think that next season isn't going to happen because of the coronavirus. Maybe they think the 2020 NFL season is going to be canceled. I mean, I would seriously question why they would think that, with still several months to go before the NFL season actually starts. But, it's like, if that's really the logic behind it, then I guess it makes sense. But at the same time, why would you be assuming that the season isn't going to happen several months in advance? Now, that's just a far-fetched theory that I was kind of thinking a little bit about. It's probably too crazy to be true, but I mean, it would explain why the Packers picked 2 players that would have been better suited being taken next year's draft. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't really see how this addresses a need for the Packers this season. I don't see how it makes them significantly better from last season. I mean, I wanted the Packers to come into this draft and get somebody who could immediately make an impact for the team next season. And Dillon may very well be able to make an immediate impact for the Packers next season. But, I mean, we still got Aaron Jones as our clear number 1 starter, and Jamal Williams still has that number 2 role. I mean, unless you're trying to have the power back beat out the power back, which I guess would be okay, but I don't really see how A.J. Dillon is too much different from Jamal Williams at this point. And you already have Jamal Williams, and next season, we still have both of those running backs, even if they're going to be free agents the following season. I would have been okay with taking a running back later in the draft, but in the second round, with your second round pick, when you just spent the first round pick on a quarterback who isn't going to play for another 3 to 4 years, barring an injury from Rodgers? I mean, come on. What's the logic behind this, Green Bay? I'm not really understanding this. And I mean, maybe I hope I am so wrong about this draft, but to me, it's not going well. And the Packers really needed to hit in this draft because this is really, really big for the Packers' future, especially the near future with Aaron Rodgers for the next few seasons. And so far, they've picked two guys who might not even be able to contribute for at least another few years. A.J. Dillon at the earliest, maybe he comes in as a good, solid backup to Jones, or maybe even Jones gets injured and he takes over and is a Pro Bowler. But is that likely? I don't really think so. I mean, everything that the Packers have done so far in this draft, I felt like is just kind of like a not likely thing. Could A.J. Dillon end up being a really, really good back for the Packers and end up starting next season and carrying the Packers in the postseason? Sure, he could. I could see it, but it's not likely. Could Jordan Love end up being a Hall of Fame level quarterback after Aaron Rodgers, or could he even come in this season and save the year if Aaron Rodgers gets injured? Maybe he could, but it's not likely. I don't know. I don't really understand it, guys, but hey, they know more than I do. They know way more than I do because I'm a fan, and those guys are the guys behind everything, and they know exactly what they're doing. So, and I don't mean that in a sarcastic way, by the way. Those guys, Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, the front office for Green Bay, they do know what they're doing. So what do I know? I'm a fan, sitting behind a camera, just telling you my thoughts on it. But right now, I'm not liking the direction the Packers are going for this draft. At least they didn't draft Donovan Peoples-Jones. That would have been horrendous. That would have been the worst possible scenario because I don't think Donovan Peoples-Jones is good at all. But, I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess. Anyways, that's all I have to say in this video. I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think A.J. Dillon's going to be a good draft for a good draft pick for the Packers? Do you think he could even contribute this year? Leave your comment in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Pack!